If you're a fan of Big E, then this video is just not going to make you happy. I'm just going to be honest with you. He did an interview with Shaquille Majuri from CBS Sports. Hopefully I pronounced that name correctly. And it was obviously in regards to his in-ring return. He says, I'm just trying to make the best decision for myself and for my health. I wish I had a better answer, but unfortunately I don't have any right now. And then he goes on to say, the great thing is I think they put me in control of that. And obviously I'm listening to the doctors. Now, this part is actually in reference to whether or not he'd be returning, based on his own conscious decision, or if this would be based on medical clearance. He says, they know more than I do as far as my health and prognosis. It's one of those things where my ability to live my life day to day and to be in the gym and whatnot is not compromised at all. But obviously, getting in the ring, taking bumps, getting thrown on my back and on my neck is a little bit different. I didn't get into this to end up in a wheelchair or worse. I started wrestling when I was 23. And at 23, the idea of being 38, which is the age I'm at now, feels so far off from the idea of what life in your 40s and 50s looks like, and feels like an eternity from now. But now those are real things and consequences that I think about. I've been an athlete my whole life. I played tackle football at 7, which I don't know if I'd recommend, but doing that at 7, amateur wrestling in middle school and high school. So I've been doing physical things my entire life, and I never want to leave sports hobbled and crippled. Now at 38, those are considerations of mine, and I just want to make sure that I'm making the best decision for myself and for my health moving forward. So it's just one of those things I want to be smart about. And I don't blame him. And I think it's important that fans really understand that we can't blame Big E. Freak accidents happen. That's what happened to Big E. It was a freak accident. And obviously he has spent so much time away from the ring that, selfishly, as a fan of Big E, I would love nothing more than to see Big E return. I would love nothing more than going into WrestleMania 40, the biggest WrestleMania of all time, and Big E does a run-in and he gets involved. And I would love nothing more than to be genuinely surprised. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm just saying I'm starting to come to terms with this idea that we might not see him back in the ring. That's the unfortunate part. That's the part that saddens me. I watched Big E in FCW, NXT, and get developed and become a thing. And now I see Big E in WWE and he becomes a WWE champion and he's got this great thing going with the New Day and he's a great talent and he's it's actually enjoyable to watch him. And then I can't help but notice when he gets injured, everything gets taken away. So selfishly, I would love nothing more than for him to come back and do some great things. But I have to just accept the fact that more than likely, even if the doctors do clear him, there is a chance that he still may not return. And it sucks, but that is the brutal reality of what pro wrestling is. I know these guys work with each other to keep each other safe, but the harsh reality is that things do happen. Things can go wrong. Now, I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about some genuinely good roles for Big E if he chooses not to return or if the medical doctors do not clear him for an in-ring return. And one thing that I really want to just point out that I've been such a big fan of is the idea that Big E has been a very big part of this thing that WWE has done, really. I mean, the whole kickoff show or press conferences, that type of thing, seeing Big E do those types of events for WWE just tells me that, obviously we know this guy is great on the microphone, but it just tells me that if they so choose, they have somebody who is really excellent for that role. Corey Graves was somebody who, for the longest time, was not cleared to wrestle. Corey Graves gets into commentary and does a really good job with commentary to the point where it was kind of unexpected. But then Corey Graves really, really stepped up and started to shine in that role. And I think, Corey Graves at this point, it's like if he were to return to wrestling, yeah, it'd be cool for a one-off type of thing. But he's so good in that role that I really wouldn't want to see him leave that role. And with Big E, if there is an off chance that his return is not possible, I want to see Big E still in the WWE family, still doing commentary or kickoff show stuff, whatever it may be. Actually, the funny thing is, I think Big E would be a really good commentator for WWE NXT. I really do. I love the Raw commentary team with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. I love the SmackDown commentary team with Wade Barrett and Corey Graves. And I like the NXT commentary team, but I just think it would be really cool to see Vic Joseph and Big E together as a commentary. Now, keep in mind, WWE does have WWE World this week. It's WrestleMania week. Big E is involved. WWE is having Big E there, and he's going to be part of the kickoff shows and the panel shows. And, you know, they did that with the Las Vegas press conference with The Rock and Roman and Seth and Cody. And Big E was a part of that, and I thought he did really great in those roles. If Big E doesn't come back, obviously, selfishly, I'm just going to be sad about it because I'm a big fan of him. But I obviously understand. I'm not stupid. I always tout health before wealth anyways. But if he is not going to wrestle, and if Big E wanted to do this, I think this guy would be perfect for commentary. I think he'd be perfect for a WWE analyst. You know, I wouldn't even be opposed to the idea of Big E being a backstage interviewer because he could add a little bit of humor to it. But yet, when he's serious, like, he's cool and calm and collected, and I like that. I have a lot of respect for Big E. I remember during the Big E Langston days, I'm like, man, this guy's going to be a future world champion. And I remember just having those conversations on YouTube, and that was so long ago. And then eventually he does become a WWE champion, you know, and that is awesome. Like, I'm glad it happened at some point. But of course, I feel like there's just so much more that could be done with him. And if we can get him back, I mean, he's another legitimate competitor for the World Heavyweight Championship. And that continues to spice up that division. Who knows, man? Who knows? But yeah, it is a little sad. It is a little bit disappointing. I think a lot of people were hoping by this time we would have some sort of concrete return plans, or WWE would have it figured out. And that doesn't appear to be the case. And that part of it is unfortunate. And it is sad. But I think also at the same time, too, as of now, he's still with the WWE. And technically, the return is not off the table. So you never know. Plus, we got Raw after Mania and SmackDown after Mania. Imagine the type of surprise it would be if Big E were to show up and actually get physical. That would probably knock the roof off out of the place. Not probably, it would. So that is something that intrigues me too. You never know in today's day and age. WWE is trying to keep things surprises, and you never know. Maybe Big E is trying to swerve people, but it's hard to assume with such a delicate topic like this. And obviously, you know, if you haven't watched my other content, like I said, health before wealth. So I really hope that Big E gets healthy and fixed up and cured from this nasty injury. And then whatever happens next, I'm there to support him. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below.